Joining us from just down the block here in El Segundo, California, on the Rich Eisen Show. I'm assuming that's where he is. On the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line, we are pleased to have the new head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers here on the program, Darvin Ham. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good, Rich. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. Are you down the street right now? Are you in the Lakers facility right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I'll just maybe I'll just go to the window after this and wave. Just look for me. Look for me waving. Congratulations on the gig. Congratulations on the gig. We
truly appreciate that.
You are welcome. We believe our crack research staff, which is all of us Googling together, we believe you might be the first head coach in the history of the NBA to have shattered a backboard in competition. Do you think you are, Darvin?
That might be a fact.
Right?
That most certainly might be a fact.
Who did you dunk on against North Carolina on that time, Darvin?
Oh, it was actually off an offensive rebound.
Okay.
Yeah, we had one of my old teammates, Jason Sasser, who actually was All-American that year, and our leading scorer. He was in the post, and Vince Carter was guarding me, and Antoine Jameson was guarding Jason Sasser. He threw up Vince left to go double team. He threw up a rush jump hook, and there was nobody left to block me out. So it was just a straight runway to the basket.
So you technically dunked on Vince Carter. Let's call it what it is. You dunked on Vince. Right?
Serge Zwicker's in the background, too.
Once he saw what was going on, he was getting out the way a little bit. He and I still laugh. All of those guys, we still laugh about that to this day.
I bet. Did you what was it like on the court after you did that, Darvin?
Pandemonium. I mean, we were in Richmond, Virginia, so the Carolina fans were like, we had a little small section of Red Raider fans in their little red and black, but the rest of the building was all light sea blue, and it was you just saw it, and to see their reaction. I mean, the shock and the horror on their faces, but also mesmerized at the same time. But it was a beautiful moment.
Do you still have that SI cover? Is it in your office? Is it hanging in your office?
It's in my man cave.
I bet it is.
Glass as well.
Oh, really? You still have pieces of the glass?
That's what I was going to ask.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was going to be my question. Did you keep that?
Why?
What about the rim?
Yeah, do you have where's the rim? Do we know?
No, I have no idea.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Probably still in the Richmond Coliseum basement somewhere.
Send that to Vince. Greetings from El Segundo.
I think Serge Zwicker's still picking glass out his head.
Oh, my gosh. And even if there has been somebody else in the NBA head coaching community who's shattered a backboard, how about also being in a slam dunk competition won by rookie Kobe Bryant back in '97? What was that?
I know, man.
What was that memory like for you, Darvin Ham?
It was beautiful, man. You know, it was obviously I feel like I got screwed, but you know that's neither here or there.
No. Hold on a second. What do you mean? What do you mean you got screwed by the?
So I was the only guy in that contest that completed all three of his first dunks. All completed all three of my first round dunks, and they were good dunks. I mean, you know, I think the only problem was I probably went a little too fast between my first and second dunk. But even still, I mean, to hear and see the crowd reaction to what I was doing out there inside what it was known then as Gund Arena in Cleveland, it was humbling, and I just knew I was going to make it. If I'd have made it past that, I'd have showed them some stuff that these kids are doing right now. But you know, long story short, you know, it was a great experience. We did a lot of press leading up to the actual event and getting to know Kobe, the 17-year-old, 18-year-old Kobe. It was a treat, and you can see like back then, you know, the NBA was like older guys with families and had been in the league. Hell, my rookie year in Denver, I played with Dale Ellis, Ricky Pierce, and those guys. So you had those type of guys still around in the league. So to see this young, brash kid straight out of high school come through with all that swag, man, it was just I was excited for him, man, because I can only imagine what he would be feeling. But, you know, he and I hit it off, and it was just a fun weekend. And he actually went away with the trophy. And it's funny to fast forward several years later, you know, my first assistant coaching job was with the Lakers. So I got to coach him from 2011, got to compete against him in a dunk contest, play against him throughout our years in the league, and ultimately coach him from 2011 to 2013. And one of the first things I said to him as we walked in the gym around training camp time in 2011 was, man, I said, you need to admit that, bro. You know I won that contest.
I can only imagine what his answer was.
With a classic Kobe fashion, he hit me with a great line. He said, yeah, you probably did, but we'll just keep the trophy at my house.
I love that, because I'm assuming his famed Mamba competitive spirit was already on display that day back at the dunk contest, right?
People tend to forget he had 30 in that little rookie game, man, and it was, I think they ended up giving Allen Iverson the MVP for that in '97, but Kobe had 30 that game, so he could have probably walked away with two trophies that night.
I bet. And then a couple years later, he's at the All-Star game in Madison Square Garden waving Karl Malone off the block saying, "Let me take it." I mean, unbelievable.
There's a new sheriff in town.
Damn straight.
His name is not Reggie Hammond. I'm dating myself now.
No, look, Darvin, I used to call your SportsCenter highlights with Stuart Scott. I mean,
yes,
we're both dating ourselves, Darvin.
Absolutely.
No doubt about that. I've got the new Lakers head coach, Darvin Ham, here on the Rich Eisen Show. So, again, you've been in that building before as an assistant. Now you are the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers with, oh my gosh, what a crossroads as well for you to find yourself with this franchise. What do you, just writ large, consider your main job there, first up, for you?
Well, it's to get us back to defending, to get everybody back on the same page, sharing the load, and everything for me and where I've been in the last 9 years working under Coach Bud. We've prided ourselves on defense. Offense is subjective. I mean, you basically going to play offense based on the type of weapons you have on that side of the ball, but defense is something you can get right damn near every night, and it's more objective. So the biggest thing for us, from transition defense to half-court defense, pick-and-roll defense, to defend without fouling, and to finish defensive possessions with a defensive rebound, and the whole team's the only one shot, that's going to be a big chunk of the focus to get us back to defending, because it's hard as hell when you're giving up bucket after bucket after bucket, and then now offensively you have to come down and play against a set defense every time. Like, you're just putting a lot of pressure on yourself, and even still, it's just the willingness to defend, the appetite to defend, and the consistency to defend. I mean, that's something we're going to be harping on throughout.
And so what was your first conversation with LeBron like? And I'm assuming you've communicated this, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we talked, we laughed, just his excitement through the phone, I mean, was mind-blowing, man. It was all positive, and, we talked a few times, and then he hit me with a text just to get some idea how, what our program is going to look like, what our system on both sides of the ball is going to look like. And in proper form, I hit him with all the defensive stuff in a long text first, and hit him with all the offense after that. And it's been great, man. He and I have been communicating as recently as yesterday. He and I have been in constant communication. Same with Russ, same with AD. Russ and AD both I've gotten to have one-on-one dinners with since I've been here, and all of that has been positive. And, again, I told them I'm going to challenge them defensively and try to do what I can to manage their minutes and manage their bodies so we can be stronger as the season gets longer. And player health is at the top, another thing that's at the top of my priority list. Just being able to have those guys and well-conditioned, being efficient with, again, how we use them, how we their usage rates, and how we practice, how we do shoot-arounds, off days, all of that. So it's going to be it's a wholehearted plan that's been proven to be effective, and which involves everything being connected.
Darvin Ham, Lakers head coach, new head coach, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. You mentioned Anthony Davis. I'm sure you heard the conversation over the last 72, 90 hours involving this stellar player and champion from a couple of years ago. Him saying he has not picked up a basketball, or had not since April 5th, and that set off alarm bells with a lot of people as an indication as to maybe dedication or love for the game. I wonder what your take on that situation is, Darvin Ham.
Well, I feel the exact opposite. Being a guy that played 8 years in the league and had deep playoff runs with teams, there's that time at the end of the year that you have to take care of your body. You know, all the pounding, the jumping, the running, especially when you dealt with an array of injuries like Anthony has. You know, it's you have to take time for your body, focus on your body, and that's what he's doing. You know what I mean? Picking up a basketball, that usually happens in the middle of the summer. Now, you may do some spot shooting or whatever, but in terms of the pounding and the hard workouts and the grueling workouts on the court, I mean, that's usually pushed back toward the middle of the summer. That's just a general NBA player's principle. Just to get that time to get your body back feeling well, to get your body stronger in different areas, to strengthen your mobility, your agility, and the court will come later. You have to have a functional body in order to be able to improve your game on the court. So I think he has his priorities in order. I don't put too much weight on, you know, that the firestorm that went on with that comment being made, but I know he's in a good place mentally. I know he's in a good place physically. Just saw him, had dinner with him last night, and it was a great, great dinner. Almost lasted 3 hours, just he and I, and going over some stuff, watching a little film, having a great meal, and he's in a great place, and I'm totally comfortable with this process.
Well, and you had mentioned moments ago, Coach Ham, about player health being a crucial aspect of what your goal is to bring to the Lakers. And I'm sure you've heard Barkley's referred to Anthony Davis, his nickname is Street Clothes. How do you prevent that? What plan can you put into place to avert what has taken Anthony Davis and the Lakers in general out the last couple of years?
Well, you know, it's unfortunate that some people experience, you know, more of an injury bug than others, but sometimes it's just some things that are out of your control. What we can't control is what he's doing now. He's with a team of strength coaches and experts on how the body should function, and he's locking step with us here and our training staff with what we have going on. Actually, one of his guys that's working with him is a part of our training staff, so just again, step by step, not being in a hurry, maximizing each day, but also being aware of what needs to be strengthened and what needs to be maintained. And, you know, the naysayers are going to say what they have to say. I have a ton of respect for Charles and what he's accomplished throughout his career, but sometimes injuries are things that you can't control. And the best thing you can do is, again, you know, prepare yourself, take that time off in the off season to strengthen yourself so, you know, you can alleviate that problem.
There's a couple more things to bounce off you here. Darvin Ham, head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers on the Rich Eisen Show. One of the other narratives about this team involving Russell Westbrook is that last year it was proven, despite the limited amount of time he, LeBron, and Anthony Davis were all healthy and playing together, just not workable. And then to hear you come in talking about defense first, and that's the mentality and sacrifice, the sense is certainly around this town, good luck with that with Russ. So I'll give that to you and your reaction to that narrative about his ability to win and work under the current construct of the roster of the Lakers with you, Darvin Ham.
Yeah, well, I think it's a great question, first and foremost. But at the end of the day, you know, he and I talked about this over the phone, face-to-face, when we had dinner as well. It's a lot. Like, the sacrifice is not only from Russ, but from AD, from Bron, from everybody, all our young guys, Stanley Johnson, Austin Reeves, William Gabriel, all these guys, and whoever we should add to our roster as we go forward through the summer. We got to hang our hat on the defensive end, and it's going to be a simple but yet sophisticated plan to where they're going to know what they're supposed to do night in and night out. And obviously, you know, you're going to have your adjustments you make team by team, but Russ's energy, his tenacity, and, you know, his ability to attack the game with speed and force, we're not asking him to change any of that. We just want to redirect that energy into this new system, and he's going to be able to, like, I'm going to unleash him. Like, he's going to have to make his mark on the defensive end. We're going to get back to the fundamentals of things and just coming out with effort. And he assured me, and he set some goals for himself on that side of the ball that we're going to make sure it's carried out. And then offensively, just being able to move them around and have them attack from different areas, and not just speeding the ball up, facing 3 defenders in transition and trying to break through a wall of defense, having them run off the ball with his, improved running habits, having them a screener more and pick and roll, rolling and catching the ball in the half row and being able to pick teams apart as a secondary passer and playmaker. And he's also going to do what he does, in transition. We want him to get out and run and put pressure on the defense, put pressure on the rim. So I think it's a workable plan. He's the first ballot Hall of Famer. I have the utmost respect for him and what he brings to the game. And, again, we're all going to sit down and make sure we're on the same page, but the load will definitely be shared. It's not going to be a situation when everything is falling all on his shoulders. Everybody's going to have to participate.
And I assume, you're from your years of playing expertise, your head's on a swivel. You got good peripheral vision. Do you see him out to your left at your opening press conference when you were being asked about him and talking about him?
You know what? I actually found out. I saw him before the press conference. Right. He and I talked, so I knew he was in the building somewhere, but I didn't see, any of his body language or anything. But I've known Russ for a long time, and we have a great rapport and always been great, even with me coaching on different teams and them playing for different teams. He and I, it's not, hard for us to get along. I was a hard-nosed player that didn't take any crap, and he's the same way.
Right.
So we hit it off instantly years ago. But again, he knows the thing that he knows about me that he's come to learn quickly. I'm a straight shooter. Like, he's always going to know where he stands, and I'm not a silly guy that succumbs to outside noise, and I'm not abrasive and stubborn where it only has to be my way of doing things. Like, I have a plan, and that plan will be shared with them and him specifically, and it's not going to be about your way, their way. His way is going to be the best way of doing things. And he and I talked, but, yeah, it was great to have him in the building and have that support from him.
Last one for you, Coach Darvin Ham of the Los Angeles Lakers here on the Rich Eisen Show. We mentioned things that you can control. You can't control, say, Anthony Davis getting hurt. You can modify things to try and avoid that. So control issues are always what's been discussed here, certainly in recent years, about Los Angeles Lakers head coaches in this town. And is it true you have control over your staff, that you get to choose who's on your staff, and that's your choice, Darvin Ham?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. They trust. I've played for, worked with, and worked for some tremendous NBA coaches. And, I've been around the league since '96, and so it's 26 years now. I know some great basketball minds. And so coming into this and having worked for a guy who was under Pop for 20 years before he got his first shot, being with him, that guy being Mike Budenholzer, being with him since his first day as a head coach up until now, from Atlanta to Milwaukee, and to sit back and watch how he constructed his staff. And Quentin Snyder is a great, great friend of mine. We talk very, very often, multiple times per month, and to see how he put together his staff, and Taylor Jenkins and so on and so forth, all these guys that I'm close with within the business, it's no doubt that what I laid out and the list of candidates to fill different slots on my staff, that they were, it made them more able to trust me in that decision-making process. And, we had some great coaches, young coaches that we kept on board. Phil Handy, Quentin Crawford, and Jason Pasteric, and our video coordinator, Drew. I mean, we have some great young talent already in the fold. It didn't work out for Frank, but Frank, I have the utmost respect for Frank Vogel. And he did a great job in selecting some of these coaches that are still here with me today. So, yes. Short answer, yes.
Okay. And what about the word has always been about too many chefs in the kitchen, certainly in meetings, coaches' meetings prior to games. Do you get to decide who from the Lakers front office gets to be in those as well? Darvin Ham.
I'm big on communication. So, yeah, our coaches, we're going to lock in, my staff and I lock in and do what we need to do. But at the same time, if there's any questions about what we're about to do, or any questions about what we did in practice or shoot around or what happened in a game, my door is always open. And those situations I prefer to have one-on-one as opposed to having something be taken out of context by somebody just listening to a brainstorming session with my staff. So, yeah, my door is always open. Our communication lines are very open here within the building.
Is Rashid, he was rumored to be one of your assistants. Are you bringing in Sheed? Is he your fellow champion?
I can't confirm or deny that, Rich.
Okay. Okay. I like it.
He's definitely a candidate, though. I'll tell you that.
Okay. And do you speak to Larry Brown often? Your champion head coach?
I talked to Coach, and I feel bad because since all of this happened, it's been a total whirlwind. I've had to change my damn phone number. It's been crazy. But I expected it. But I got to catch up with Coach. I owe Coach a phone call. Okay. He's been a very instrumental figure in me and my thought process, and being on this side of it, being an 11-year NBA assistant coach and now head coach. So I'm definitely going to tap into that resource. Him, George Karl, Bernie Bickerstaff. I've already talked to Bernie. Great. So I owe Larry and George Karl a phone call.
I love it. Hey, Coach Ham, I appreciate it. You said you had dinner with Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook. I assume there is a standing Taco Tuesday invite for you. I'm assuming. Is that safe to assume that for you?
Yeah, we'll get to it at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely safe to assume.
Because I'll keep an eye peeled to @KingJames for a photograph of that with some red wine glass emojis. I look forward to seeing all that. Then I'll know everything's cool in the neighborhood here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And then look for my call again. I'm more than happy to send a car down the street for you next time if you want to come in.
You know what? I'll just walk, man. You just have somebody waiting for me at the door. So
now that's the hard-nosed Darvin Ham I thought I knew. Thanks for the call, Coach. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's been too long. That's Darvin Ham here, the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers on the Rich Eisen Show. That was a lot of fun.